I'm here at the Confederation Building in St. John's, where after tomorrow's election, we might see a change in staff inside. I had the chance to catch up with some officials in the education and healthcare system to see what their opinions were on the mandate that the three political parties laid down.
The Canadian Federation of Students is an organization that represents all public post-secondary students in Newfoundland and Labrador. So all 25,000 students enrolled at Memorial University, both undergraduate and graduate students, students at the Marine Institute, and students at all 17 campuses of the College of the North Atlantic. And we also work with over 500,000 students around the country. This election is actually quite important for students. This is the last year of the tuition fee freeze. So whichever party is elected and forms government will be making, one of the first decisions that they'll be making is, do they continue with the tuition fee freeze? And across the country we've seen provinces eliminating freezes and tuition fees skyrocketing. And in Newfoundland and Labrador it's not the case. So it's important for students to get out and vote, to show that they want to be part of the decision-making process so that we can keep the freeze and keep education affordable and accessible in Newfoundland and Labrador. The three goals of the Vote Education campaign are to inform students about post-secondary education issues, students and the general public, to make post-secondary education an issue and an election issue for candidates, and then to get commitments from all three parties on post-secondary education. Earlier in the campaign period, the Canadian Federation of Students sent out a questionnaire to all three parties, and we asked them to, where they stood on various issues, including tuition fees, funding for post-secondary institutions, financial aid, and things like that. So we got responses from all three parties, and the Liberals, the New Democrats, and the Progressive Conservatives all committed to continuing a tuition fee freeze. Specifically, the NDP committed to reducing tuition fees to the point of elimination, but all three parties have expressed their intention to progressively reduce tuition fees. All three parties as well committed to eliminating student loans in the province, provincial student loans, and replacing them with upfront needs-based grants. And needs-based grants are a form of non-repayable student financial aid, which is extremely important because it reduces student debt. And the average student debt in Newfoundland and Labrador is roughly $25,000 at the end of a post-secondary degree or diploma. So it's still significant, even though we do have fairly affordable tuition fees here.
The concern of a lot of healthcare workers is that a lot of things are promised, but they're not always quick to come through with the implementing the policies. Many of them have very broad strategies that they're saying that they will develop a strategy about certain things, health and wellness, long-term care, pharmacare, and if you look at their platforms and read their books, their blue book and their other policies that each of the parties have out, then it's easy to say in the end after they're elected that yes, they did do their job, because it's very broad, that we will develop a strategy towards this or we will develop a strategy towards that. And it's easy to develop a strategy, but it's not easy to implement. And by implementing, meaning getting down to the grassroots where it's the patients, the people who are out in the communities that actually benefit from all of those strategies.
With the issues raised in the education and healthcare systems, whichever political party is elected will have their work cut out for them after the provincial election on Tuesday. For Troubadour News, I'm Megan Edwards.